Hi everyone, I just wanted to come on here with a love and light message, a random love and light message, because there's a couple of cards that came out in the deck, the Lightseer's Tarot, and I thought it was a pretty significant message that I wanted to bring to you. The first set of cards that came out was the Nine of Cups. So this is independence. This is us finding, exercising, and experiencing inner and outer liberation in our journeys, okay? Along with that came the Sun, which is happiness, the expression of our inner child, joy. It's also a card indicative of Leo energy. Then we have the Empress, which is the incubation of our inner self, which is the divine feminine of the tarot deck. She is the mother of the tarot deck. Also, the Empress is an example of inner and outer rebirth. I say incubation because just as it takes 9 months for a child to be born, you know, the Empress is that energy of us holding space for ourselves and really holding ourselves down and creating a fortress of protection and energetic light in order to allow our rebirth to take place in a very safe fashion. And then we have the Queen of Wands and the Devil that came out together, okay? And so this to me was the duality of life. This to me is Gemini season at its finest. The Queen of Wands is somebody who's confident, somebody who's empowered, not only through her sensuality and her sexuality, but her confidence shines from all different areas of her life. She is the epitome of a confident feminine energy. But with that comes the Devil as well, which is Capricorn energy. And what I saw here throughout all these cards is the journey of ascension and growth, and inner ascension, with the temptation of the past, okay? So I'm going to do something a little different here. But as we experience our liberation, as we step into our financial power, as we step into our spiritual power, our mental power, our emotional power, our soul power, we learn to embrace ourselves in a way that we have never embraced ourselves before. We learn to validate ourselves because we don't need the validation of other people. We learn to live independently irrespective of who stays and who goes in our life. And that is a very beautiful thing. That to me is ascension. It is growth when you can stand on your feet and find the beauty and love all around you in your life without having to rely on another, okay? Now, as you experience this, there will always be that confidence to be in this place, but also the temptation to get attached again. Okay, this is the duality of life. None of us can escape this. As much as we find independence, we're going to find the temptation to be attached. This could be you, connecting again with an ex-lover and getting attached to old ways. This could be you giving into toxic patterns, toxic behaviors. As you financially liberate yourself, you might find yourself in debt on the other end. So we have to be very conscious about the way we live. We have to be aware of ourselves every second of the day. That doesn't mean we're not allowed to make mistakes. That doesn't mean we're not allowed to, let go and have fun, but be mindful. Always check in with yourself, because as much as there is liberation, there's always a temptation for more, okay? As we experience our inner joy and as we experience our happiness, okay, especially as we get closer and closer into Leo season, we are going to be tempted to entertain the things that can actually rob us of our happiness, that can energetically deplete us. And if we're not exercising conscious awareness, then we are going to be greeted with these lessons in ways that we wouldn't expect. It could be you getting involved with somebody and learning who they are, or seeing the truth and seeing the clarity you needed months down the line. If you exercise conscious awareness and you live consciously and you check in with yourself all the time, you're going to always put yourself in a place where you'll be like, okay, what is happiness? Is this the happiness that I desire? Is this the happiness that is meant for me? Am I worthy of this? Okay, these are the type of questions that you have to ask yourself, unfortunately. Because as we move forward in life, you're going to feel so good in this happy spot that you don't want to be making choices, by turning a blind eye to certain things. Because the devil, our shadow side, is always a part of who we are. Now, actually, I'll save this point till the end. But Empress, wherever we give birth to ourselves, we have the option. Listen, you cannot have birth without death. So what needs to go in order to allow something to come in? What part of you needs to be shut away so that you can bloom with the new parts of who you are? Okay, that is a very important question that you have to ask yourself, okay, on this journey. The timestamp was at 444 as I said that. I'm also seeing that as you incubate and as you create and hold space to create and give birth to a new you, you are going to be tempted by patterns, habits, and people of the past to get back into that old way that you're trying to shed. Okay? And so what I say to you is, in Gemini season, as we embrace the duality of life, we never want to ignore our shadow side. Okay? When we ignore our shadow self, that is when we find ourselves in the darkest hours. Sorry, my throat is acting up. That is when we find ourselves in our darkest hours. That is when we, you know, face our biggest lessons and face the biggest tower moments. Because when we ignore our healing, when we choose to ignore our healing, then the universe will deliver to us lessons that need to be learned. And sometimes those lessons don't come packaged in pretty wrapping paper and with a ribbon and a bow on it. Okay? It just doesn't work that way. The best thing to do, and you know, this is the duality of life, this is Gemini season, is to embrace your shadows, because your shadows are a part of all these journeys. Your rebirth, your independence, your happiness, your confidence. Your shadow side is a part of you. You're never just void of your shadow side and you only live through your light side. No, we are always a duality between light and dark. Okay, so how are you embracing your shadows every day of your life? How are you doing the inner work? How are you taking time to journal? How are you taking time to be present? How are you taking time to be you? Because when you acknowledge the shadow side to all your experiences and your emotions, you're going to keep yourself accountable and keep yourself on the path to healing. Because that is healing, okay? Healing is being conscious, being aware, being present. And if you give yourself the opportunity to do that, then you'll never be caught off guard. Okay? Sure, life will always have surprises, but you don't need to be in a bad place because of it, okay? This is an opportunity for us to do better for ourselves, okay? Now, with these cards also came out the Ace of Wands, the Two of Cups, and the World. I'm specifically saying for a lot of you that there is a love, a romantic connection that might tempt you. Okay, it might tempt you. With three beautiful cards here, I'm not saying this is a bad connection, but, you know, with the Devil present and with that duality of life, I'm seeing that, you know, this connection may not have grounded itself. It may not have found its rootedness. It may not have been able to germinate its roots in solid earth because it just wasn't being planted in a fertile environment, okay? There was probably too much toxicity between you and this person. You guys may have been operating so much from your wounds at the time, okay? But I'm seeing that cycles are wrapping out. I'm seeing you in specific are brand new and you are starting again in a very beautiful place here on your journey where you suddenly, this is your awareness, as you can see. I wish I had my wand here, but this is your awareness. This is your conscious living. This is you being present. And this is you gaining so much passion, clarity, and purpose from it too. Okay, just look at that. This is you. This is your understanding. This is your crown chakra, your third eye, set ablaze with power and passion and pleasure because you have done the work to understand where you need to go. Okay? And now as a result, you are wrapping up old cycles, okay? With your confidence, with your happiness, okay? With your independence, as you can see here, and you're giving birth to a new you. Okay, you've been inspired to do this. Of course, you know, the devil is always around. The devil is always there to tempt us. The devil will always find us when we least expect it. But the beautiful thing is that you have the opportunity to move forward in this connection in a beautiful, balanced way. You just have to be present. That's all. Okay, so that was a beautiful, light, love and light message that I wanted to share with you guys with these cards that came about. I'm going to take it a bit further and find out exactly what's wrapping up in this connection here. Ace of Wands, the World, and Two of Cups. Let's see here. What exactly is wrapping up in this connection? And I've got the Sun. Okay. Ace of Pentacles. Six of Wands. Wow. With three such positive cards, I can only assume that it's the opposite. You know, there was a lack of clarity that was wrapped up in order to allow this clarity to come in. There was a lack of grounded action moving you forward that was there. I don't know, it could have been you constantly operating from your wounds, taking yourself back, and not acting from a place of inspired action. And so that's wrapping up too. So I'm seeing that this connection is set to really find some beautiful grounding as we head into Leo season. Again, Leo energy is so strong. I have the sun here twice in the spread at this point. Okay, the sun here twice. So I'm seeing that there's clarity. And with this clarity, there's happiness, okay? There's a lot of desire and there's a lot of passion, okay? Because there's clarity here in the picture. And I'm seeing that, you know, you'll know what is being wrapped up. It seems like the lack of movement and the lack of clarity is what's finding the boot right now. And there's a new phase beginning again. But there's a new phase greeting you because you are brand new. And, you know, potentially this person could be brand new too. I think you'll have to be the judge.